Hi everyone, I'm Ruchi Bajpayee, a Sentinel of UPES. I'm honored and elated to curate this third and final talk of Cybersecurity Awareness Month hosted by Cyber Sentinel UPES. We have already discussed about data breaches and application security in previous sessions, so it would be perfect if we end this month with crisp of dark web and Tor in our mind. Tor Browser, also known as the Onion Router, is one of the most important tools to guarantee anonymity and free browsing on the internet. A number of possibilities comes with Tor, an example of which is the dark web. The dark web is one of the most common occurring but most poorly defined terms in information security. This part of cybersecurity needs more attention and discussion on it. So buckle up and sit tight because today our guest speaker, Mr. Mohammad Arif Ali Khan, who works as a computer science engineer and an ethical hacker with an experience working with the cybercrime cell, and he's currently working as an analyst on NDC-RTC project at Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy. He will be presenting his views on why Tor is secure when compared to normal browsing, with practical demonstration and also some services on the dark web. The topic of this session is demystifying the dark web and tales of anonymity over Tor. Coming live to you now, I would like Sir to take over. Thank you.
Thank you, and everybody, welcome to this session on dark web. I think there's a lag in audio. Am I audible? Okay. So I'll start with my presentation. So today's agenda is about demystifying the dark web and tales of anonymity. I'm Mohammad Arif Ali Khan, and I'm working as a system analyst in NDC-RTC, that is a unit of IT wing of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy. So basically, whenever we talk about dark web, basically it is not actually the term which has to be used, but it is hidden web. But people have given it the word as dark web because it's a buzzword now, because everything which is forbidden is available on the dark web. So anyhow, here's a bit about me. I used to work at the cybercrimes PS CID in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. As a part of National Police Academy, there is NDC-RTC, wherein I travel across the nation as well as to different countries for delivering sessions and training law enforcement agencies on cybercrime investigation and forensic. What we have seen is dark web is one gray area where people hesitate to even work on it, because the moment you talk about dark web, people think you're doing something wrong. And sometimes people think, or normally the criminals think, that whatever they do on the dark web is going unnoticed. They assume that they are completely anonymous. So here I am to demystify that not everything on the internet is anonymous, and at least not anonymous if you're using a free tool available on internet for around 60 MB thing. And if you assume that you are anonymous, then people working on cybersecurity might be feeling foolish about that. Anyway, let us proceed with the agenda, which is very crisp and clear for the day. We'll be talking about what is dark web, why dark web, and how to access dark web, some services or websites available on the dark web, and how exactly Tor works, and some words of caution or words of advice for the people who are interested in working on dark web. Basically, it sums up to this: whatever you see on the internet, like for example, if you search for something on Google, you search for something on Yahoo, Instagram, Facebook, or you buy something on Amazon or Flipkart, that is part of the surface web. which is documented basically. The second part of the internet is deep web, which means any kind of data protected by any kind of authorization or authentication. For example, your government records, your Google Drive data, your legal documents, your financial records, every data, whatever you have, your medical certificates, your academic database, everything is part of deep web. Some people often get confused with the word deep web and dark web. So here this photograph tries to clear it up. Dark web is which is beyond the surface and deep web. And I'm going to use, or I'm going to reframe this particular word as dark web to something like hidden web, because not everything on the hidden web is illegal. There are so many things which are available on the hidden web which are hidden for a good purpose, for providing anonymity to the people who are posting it. For example, why would people try to use the dark web or hidden web? Like Oscar Wilde has mentioned that give a man a mask and he will show his true face. But if you consider the dark web, it's like give a man a mask and he shall not fear of speaking truth. So when should people use anonymity tools, or when should people use anonymizers? The reason for that is to protect journalists in delivering news without fear of getting compromised. For example, if you consider, like, I want to post something, but I want to stay anonymous. I have some information with me which I want to share with some particular agency, but I do not want them to know from where I have sent this. Besides this, you might have seen already that, for example, if you search something on Google, for example, if you want to purchase some headphones on Google, you just search for purchasing headphones on Google. You find some relevant websites like Amazon or Flipkart. Then after some time, you log into your Facebook account, and then while you are browsing through your newsfeed, there are chances that you get the same advertisement placed on your Facebook newsfeed. How does Facebook get to know what you were searching for? Right. So we'll come to it on it later. Another thing is to protect research. For example, I keep on searching for some particular content, but I do not want the other person to know about it unless I formulate my complete research material. So I try to stay anonymous on this. I do not want people to know what I'm searching for. If I'm using, for example, some tools on Facebook, or I'm using something on Google to search for some research content, sometimes what happens is they identify, or they try to identify on the basis of cookies and other stuff, that what you are searching for, and they may try to divert you, or they may try to record a bit about you, which might be objectionable also. But anyhow, to stay secure, you can use anonymizing tools, or you can use some other privacy focused search engines. Coming to Google, if I want to search for something like I want to buy drugs, Google might give you some information like buy paracetamol or azithromycin, something like that. But if you try to do the same thing on dark web search engines like Torch, you might find things like this. It will divert you or redirect you to some websites which offer you purchase of stolen credit card information, or try to purchase guns, ammunition, drugs, and other things which are objectionable. The reason why people use this part of internet, that is dark web, is because, for example, if I purchase something from Flipkart, for example, if Flipkart sells me some objectionable good, like it tries to send me some objectionable content or some drugs on Flipkart, I can anyhow track who the person is, I can track who the seller is, and I can put him behind the parts. But on dark web or the deep web, or dark web, for example, dark web or hidden web, what people do is you do not know from where you're purchasing. And whatever you purchase is on basis of bitcoins. And they say bitcoins, you cannot track who the actual owner of the bitcoin is. For example, if I give my credit card number to some particular website, you may anyhow eventually track me to my bank account and to me in person. But if you're using a bitcoin, you cannot locate me. This is the difference between the basic search engines and the search engines offered by the dark web or the hidden web. There are services available on Tor. For example, I'm like in this particular session, I do not want to discuss about something which is objectionable. So let me just show you this index of dark web so that you understand what all services are available on dark web. If you look at these sites, You have search engines, you have financial markets, you have so many commercial services for purchasing of stolen properties or to purchase stolen mobile phones, stolen electronic goods, and other things which are objectionable. So if I want to access this particular link, I click on it and you see it is unable to locate or it is unable to fetch the website behind this particular domain. The reason behind that is all these domains on dark web are ending with .onion. .onion is not a domain which the normal DNS identifies with. So to access this particular website, you require some special software. So we'll see about that, what softwares we are going to use for that. But anyhow, TOR browser is one such software which is being used to access any service which is on the dark web. Some good services supported on TOR network for secure communication as for messaging. If you want to be, if you're skeptical about WhatsApp's privacy, if you think that WhatsApp is monitoring your communication, people can use a messaging application like RicoChat, which is built on TOR and also supports TOR network. And if you want to use an email, for example, if you want to send an email and be sure that this email cannot be read by the adversaries, you can use Mailpile, which encrypts your email. And also there are some email providers like ProtonMail, which offer privacy to you, as well as they support Tor network. Also, the people who are watching this video, if you want, you can open this particular website, that is hyperiongrey.com/darkwebmap. This basically gives you websites, all the categories of websites available on the dark web. For example, I'm not supposed to show the screenshots of this because the problem is there are so many objectionable videos or objectionable websites available on this particular website, which are not suitable for public display, as this particular video is going live on and public. So anyways, let me give you some example types of websites available on this particular listing. There is something called Red Room. If you have not heard about the concept of Red Room, it is like people kidnap people who are living off on the streets, on footpaths somewhere, who are homeless. They just pick them up randomly and they put them in a room. They connect a camera to that system and then they try to do all bad stuff with these people on request basis. For example, these people kidnap a person, put it in front of the camera, and ask the viewers, like, what should I do with this particular person? Should I cut his nail? Should I shave his head? Should I kill him? Should I poke his eyes? All these kind of such activities happen on this thing. That is called Red Room. So that is the bad thing. And one more thing you need to know is the most popular thing available on the hidden web or the dark web, which you say, is child pornography, which is completely banned. Even searching for child pornography on the internet is a crime. So as they say, forbidden fruit is sweet, people try to get more of this because as child pornography is banned all over the country, all over the world, with grave punishments if somebody is found searching for child pornographic content or has stored some kind of child pornographic content in his computer or mobile phone. For this reason, people have chosen dark web to circulate, purchase, and sale of this kind of objectionable content. Coming to Tor, which is the most popular kind of network on dark web. This is not the only network. You also have I2P, that is Invisible Internet Project. But Onion router is more popular because you have more users and you have more people opting in for securing this kind of network. To browse dark web over Tor or to browse any website using the Tor network, you require these tools like TOR Browser for your Windows-based systems or your Linux-based systems, or you have mobile device, you can use TOR Browser, and you have complete operating systems. For example, if you visit a particular place, if you visit your friend's place and you want to stay anonymous, but you do not want to leave any trail of your activities on their particular systems, what you can simply do is you can use these operating systems like Tails or Honix and try to access the content. It comes with it comes with a bootable image. You just install it in your pen drive, and then simply you can just access the dark web by using it without leaving any visible trails on its operating system. But anyhow, forensically, you can try to get information like what might have been done, but it's not a cakewalk. These are the applications available on the internet for free for accessing this particular network. Now, the main question comes in your mind whenever you're using TOR browser is how secure is TOR? To show that, I just have the TOR browser here. To use the TOR browser, you just have to install it. It is available for free on torproject.org. And if you think that TOR is secure, you need to search for the information about the TOR project. TOR project is a registered organization in US. And if people say that TOR project is a registered organization in US and still the US government is unable to track people using TOR, then I need not say any further for this particular thing, right? So imagine a person downloading a TOR browser which is around 60 to 70 MB, and then he's trying to create a havoc and people are not able to track it. It is not possible. So anyway, we'll come to it, how secure is TOR and how we can change some settings. You just have to run the software. Once you run the software, let me open any random website. And there's an assumption that people think that TOR can be used only to access dark web. It is not so. You can use TOR to access any website, any normal website. Also, you can access YouTube for doing it, but you need to have an intention behind that. Nobody uses YouTube to on TOR because it takes time to load. You don't want to wait for like you don't have to wait longer because TOR makes multiple connections. It creates a circuit of different IP addresses to reach to one particular site. It is not like a proxy wherein you have one particular IP address in between. You have multiple nodes in between. Anyhow, let me try opening one website here in an onion also. Earlier, we tried opening this kind of website in Firefox browser, and you can see it is not opening. But if you try to open that in the TOR browser, you can access it. So now, to explain how TOR works, you have to check this connection. So if I click here, you can see three IP addresses belonging to three different countries. One is France, Germany, and Norway. So for example, if I'm accessing this particular website, this particular website records my Norway's IP address. It will not record Germany or France IP address. So this connection, whenever I am visiting this particular website, the hiddenwiki.org, it first travels through France. From my browser, it goes to France IP address, then it goes to Germany, and then Norway, and then to the actual website. So if Hidden Wiki wants to track me, they will get the IP address of Norway. That's it. They will not be able to traverse me back to my service provider. This is one particular thing. To explain it in a bit more easier way, let me show you this website. For example, whenever you want to check how anonymous you are, you try to identify your IP address. So for identifying my IP address, I can use any website like domaintools.com or myip.info or any other random website. So here, if I have opened this particular website, I can see my IP address. So let us see how it shows in this information. So if you focus here, you can see the same IP address is being shown here. 244.73.43. Okay. So if I happen to do some crime on this particular website, at max, they will be able to identify only this IP address. They cannot be able to traverse back from United States to Germany to France and to Hyderabad where I'm living now. So this is how this particular part of connection happens. But in case if you're accessing a .onion website, like I have accessed here, DuckDuckGo, it's a search engine. If I click here, you will be able to see 3 nodes from my computer and 3 nodes to this particular onion website. Because if I want to host a .onion website, I need to be connected to the Tor network. So 3 nodes from my computer and 3 nodes to the computer which is hosting this particular onion. So it makes things complicated. But the bottom line being that if it is against the interest of the nation, they can track you. The law enforcement can track you. Don't think that you are completely anonymous by at least using TOR browser or any kind of anonymizer you are using. So this is I've documented here. To host a dark web, you simply have to make some configurations in your TOR RC file, which is anyhow not part of this particular session. Anyhow, you can manage it. You can host a dark web from your own computer, from your own personal computer, or to make it easier, you can host it even from your mobile phone. It is as easy as just adding 2 lines of code in your computer or your mobile. Similarly, you also have I2P. I'm just giving a brief about I2P. It is Invisible Internet Project, which is also on par with dark web, or for example on par with the TOR network. But as there are only limited number of people, like for example there are around 55,000 computers who are involved in this particular network, people think they are easier to be caught when considered or when considering the network of TOR. TOR has around 2 million plus nodes. So people have a thinking thing that 2 million people and 55,000. You choose which network is more secure. To host an I2P website, it is a bit complicated. It is not easier as compared to TOR. You can host an EAP site. Normally we call it as EAP site, I2P sites, and these I2P websites end with .I2P. Anyway, giving a practical demonstration about how actually things work so that you get the thing about it. For this, I'm going to use a tool called Wireshark. Wireshark basically is a network troubleshooting tool, but here we are going to identify or simulate an environment where if I access a particular website, what will my service provider see? Because to use an internet, we require an internet service provider. So if I want to access internet, if I'm browsing some particular website, I'm using YouTube, I'm accessing Zoom, I'm accessing Cisco, I'm accessing some random websites. To identify what my service provider knows about me whenever I'm using internet, I want to demonstrate this particular tool here. For this, I require Wireshark, which is available for free on the internet. I just double click on my interface because I'm currently connected to wireless interface. I just double click on this interface and let us do a drill here. Let me open few random sites. Hidden wiki. Let me open some websites. Some website which asks for a password. Let me write my name here, some random password. Okay. And some other websites. I open through some websites randomly by using a normal browser. I'm not using any kind of specialized software for this. I'm just using Firefox normal browser for checking the content or reading something. Okay. Let me try to open some links over HTTPS or HTTP in some websites. And now let me stop Wireshark. So basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to simulate an environment wherein the service provider records your activities. So most probably when the service provider wants to monitor you or when the service provider wants to know what exactly you're doing for their own purposes, like there's a different story altogether. It's something called business logic behind that. If the service provider identifies that you are using a lot of YouTube, maybe they'll come up with a plan to you and they say that this particular subscriber is using YouTube for a lot period of time. Let us offer him a stronger or a very good package so that he can watch videos in 1020 or 1080 pixel. So anyway, once this is done, let me save this particular file. This kind of dump is generated at the service provider's end when they are interested in your browsing traffic. So let me label this as normal browsing and save it. Okay. The same thing, the same drill, let me do it on the TOR browser. So for example, let me close all these sites. I just run Wireshark once again. I select my interface and I open the same sites. Some random HTTP sites. Let me fill the same username and password here. Some random passwords. Okay. And I'm accessing the same content on the websites. Hidden wiki. Let me try opening some other random .onion sites also. Okay. And let me stop the traffic and save this particular dump as TOR browsing. So once I save this, what I'm going to do is you can either parse this network traffic using Wireshark itself, but to make things easier for understanding, we have a tool called Network Miner, and this tool is completely available for free and also has a commercial version. So anyhow, for this purpose, we are comfortable with the free version available. Network Miner is the tool. Let me open two instances of this tool. In one instance of the tool, I'm going to parse the normal browsing traffic, which we have done using the Firefox browser. And the other part is TOR browsing. Okay. So here, let me just show you the difference between two. If I check here in the normal browsing traffic, it displays what all my service provider knows about me. It shows that I had visited this particular website. It shows that I visited hindu.com, hiddenwiki.org, browserspy.dk, and every other thing, directly or indirectly, because I have multiple plugins stored in my multiple plugins in my browser. So even though directly or indirectly they're trying to connect with so many other services, if I click here, I'll be able to see the files which have been downloaded directly or indirectly during my session and some images. Did I download this exclusively? I did not download any image while I was working on this particular segment. How this has to come here is, for example, when I am browsing to a particular website, the images get loaded in memory and also in the browser. So whenever something gets loaded, but it eventually gets downloaded from this particular website, so even that becomes part of your network traffic, and people can try to recreate that. And you also have a segment called credentials here. Let us see what it has. Can you see this? The last entry, username, password. So this password I entered on a test website of HTTP, which collects information. So if you're accessing something over HTTP, this password or username can be anyhow identified by your service provider. Your service provider knows what website you have visited and what password you have given if the website is on HTTP. That is the reason why every time people keep on giving awareness that never try to use HTTP websites for sending some data. You also have sessions, that is directly or indirectly what all websites your computer was connected to, and you have something called DNS. Now DNS is the server which resolves the IP address to one particular website. For example, if you're trying to access a child pornographic website and you enter the domain in your browser, though it has been banned, your service provider comes to know that the client has requested for this particular website, and the DNS answer will be something like this particular website has been blocked or this is banned or something like that. But anyhow, they will at least leave a log on your computer or will leave a log at your ISP. So they can hold you liable for even searching for any objectionable websites. So always be cautious about that. Coming to the part where we have parsed the data which we have identified using the TOR browser, let me check what all content we get from here. You can see Google here because in the background I have Google Chrome open and it is trying to communicate with the Google. Besides that, you will never get any other IP addresses. You never get any file downloaded. You never get any images because even here I have done the same thing. I've accessed the same similar websites, no credentials. Even though I have accessed the HTTP website, you are unable to look at any of the credentials mentioned here. That is the reason why people say TOR is secure. So it is basically to prevent any kind of eavesdropping, at least from the service provider. The service provider will never come to know what you are trying to access on the basis of this particular traffic. Okay, so this is one basic terminology of how TOR works and why we have to use TOR and in which cases we have to use TOR. There is also something called Freenet, but Freenet is not part of dark web. It is just a free storage space like your torrent. If I want to share some big file with many people and I do not have a server storage, I do not have a dedicated server storage, I just upload a torrent file on various peers. So in this particular thing, we are supposed to, like for example, in Freenet, we are just having a file storage capacity. It has nothing to do with any illegal thing. But TOR and I2P provide anonymity to people, and people are using it for creating problem to law enforcement agencies. But you need to remember that it is not so. You can anyhow track the users over TOR and I2P by using different kind of thing, which we are not able to, which I'm not supposed to discuss on a public forum. So this I have discussed, like how do we identify the traffic by using Wireshark and Network Miner. These tools are available for free. You can try it at your own on your own systems for this thing. And coming to another part, if I am skeptical about the network of TOR being redirected to one particular country, if I do not want my TOR network to be redirected to one particular country, I can tweak it. For example, if I consider that my network should not be going through US-based TOR relays, I can configure my TOR browser to exclude the connection from US. Or if I think that if I want, for example, if I want to make sure that my network travels only from Australia, an entry node, or Australia as an exit node, or Sri Lanka an exit node, I can prefer that by doing simple tweaks in your TOR browser. For example, to tweak that, you have to go to the path where your TOR browser has been installed, or okay. In this, you have a folder called TOR browser. In TOR browser, you have a folder called data. Under data, you have another folder called TOR. Under that, you have a file, configuration file called TOR-RC. If you open this particular file using any of your notepad or any text editor, you can tweak settings in this as a last line, and then make sure that your connection gets through one particular country's IP address or a couple of countries' IP addresses. So you have these codes here. You just have to make a format in this manner. Entry nodes, and I can select the country of my choice. Exit nodes, select country of my choice, and add this string here. Strict node 1. Strict nodes 1, make sure that if the entry node Australia is not available, it will not create a circuit over TOR. And also in exit nodes, if Sri Lanka is not available for the exit node, it will not create a circuit. You have different set of country codes here. You can use any of these. If you are unable to find out, or if you are unable to recollect it from this particular video, you can just simply search for TOR country codes and you'll find the country codes of various countries. It is similar. For example, if you want a TOR entry or exit node from India, you can simply add as India. You can provide multiple nodes also. For example, it will first search for Australian entry node. If Australian IP address is not available, it will try to hop into India's IP address. Similarly for exit nodes also. Besides this, you can also give another wildcard here, which mentions that exclude nodes. If I do not want my network to travel through China's IP address or China's TOR relays, I can simply enter exclude nodes as CN, and then it will make sure that my IP address does not get resolved through this China's thing. To comment it off, you can simply add a hash as a prefix to this particular parameter, and it will comment it off. It will not be, it will make it inactive. So anyhow, let us check how well our nodes work. Let me save this configuration file and rerun the TOR browser. So it is searching for these two countries. Unless it tries to find out any available relays for these two countries, it will not start. It is searching for Australian-based TOR nodes. So I think currently it is unable to fetch the listings for Australia and India. So let me add some other countries here so that it tries to identify that also. Let me try Germany. Even in exit node, let me try Germany. Code for Germany is DE. Once I save it, I try to rerun TOR browser. Yeah. Finally, we are able to fetch one of those nodes. Let me try accessing a normal website. If I access this particular website, let me check how it shows. Right. So if you can see here, the circuit had built entry node as Germany and exit node as Germany. That means Australia, India were not available at the time of building the circuit. So you can make sure that your network goes through one of these nodes. Okay. So anyway, coming back to the presentation, some other resources for accessing TOR is, for example, at one point in time, if you are unable to use a TOR browser, you can simply access the same websites using .ly. For example, if the website is abc.onion, you can simply append .ly to the website. It will route you to a proxy, a TOR proxy, and then you can simply access it. There are websites like Onion Tree, which also provide you a listing about what all services are available on the internet or on the hidden web. To give an example of how things work, or to show so I'm taking the liberty of showing one particular website. Just wait until it resolves. People say that you don't have to put your passwords as mobile number. So there are services available on the hidden web. which offer you to give your password. For example, if you give me your email account, I'll be able to tell your password, because the dark web maintains repositories of multiple data breaches. There are some websites like have been pawned, but these websites just tell you whether your password was leaked or not. But there are also services on the dark web which provide you the complete password. If you give an email account, I'll be able to tell you the password. That is how it looks like. And if I have your password, I can tell you your email account. Or if somebody gives me a mobile number, I'll be telling their email account and vice versa. That is how it happens. So this is completely a repository on the internet. People are maintaining such dump. So for research and for law enforcement agencies, people can try to identify breaches. What we normally do as part of NDCRTC and other agencies which we work is we try to identify the breaches and try to inform using the proper channel. For example, as a matter of case study in this particular presentation, I've added one particular segment, how we deal with financial frauds. For example, you might be hearing a lot of cases on shared by so many law enforcement agencies and so many complaints coming at the cyber cell that my card is with me, but somebody has withdrawn some amount from one particular place. So people try to ask you this thing, right? Like you might be skeptical, or you might be uh, anticipating how can person use your credit card if you're having a credit card physically present with you. It is all by the matter of cloning and part of something called skimming. So how normally we do is, as you have seen, there are so many dumps available on the dark web where people can purchase credit cards, debit card of their own requirement. For example, if they want a dump, if for example if you have a dump of a debit card or credit card, people are purchasing it for the purchase of $1.5. So they can purchase a credit card for a matter of $1.5 but in bitcoins. So what normally we do is we are concerned about the citizens of India. Normally what we do is we enter the dark web, we look for the dumps available on the dark web. For example, I found a dump. The dump comes with a prefix of bin. So it's bank identification number. For example, you have a bin number as 52113. I just identify that and search for it using some websites to identify to which particular bank this particular bin or dump resolves to. So if I get that particular dump on the dark web, I identified that this particular dump belongs to, basically this dump first, this first particular 6 digits are of the credit card or your debit card number. The first 6 digits of your debit or credit card number are termed as the bin number. So what we normally do is whenever you find some kind of data breaches available on the dark web, we just look for the bin identification number, the bin number, and identify whether this belongs to a legitimate bank or it is some kind of fraudulent card. Once we identify that, we try to validate the credit card or the debit card number available on websites which are mentioned here, validcreditcardnumber.com. This particular website tries to identify whether this particular credit card number is legitimate or not on the basis of something called Loon's algorithm. That is the algorithm which is used for generating the credit card and debit card numbers, and also works pretty much same in the generation of IMEI numbers. So anyway, once we identify this, what we do is we inform the concerned banks that this particular credit card number or debit card number or the bin of this particular bank has been breached. And then you might have seen that sometimes simply out of the blue, your bank sends you a new credit card or a new debit card number by canceling your previous debit card number without providing a proper explanation. Normally they say that this particular card, debit or credit card comes with a new EMB chip, so we are giving it to you. But the background can be this, that somewhere your credit card might have been misused. The problem is, if you are not using your credit card, for example, if somebody misuses a credit card somewhere while you're having your credit card physically with you, it becomes the bank's liability to refund the amount which was lost by your particular account. To prevent this, banks, so we try to inform banks that this particular credit card has been breached. So after performing their internal audit, what they do is they try to discard that particular card and provide a new card to the customers. This is how basically we can identify. These are the areas. So normally we search for any content, any objectionable content available on the internet. Like for example, there was a case we were working on where people were selling drugs. So we had to identify whether this particular area, like you have so many markets on the dark web, which say that I'm going to provide you this amount of drugs in this particular area. So normally we try to monitor who is the person who is selling it, and being anonymous, we try to involve or try to intervene in their communication and ask them like how they are going to deliver it. They normally deliver it in the form of books. They cut the magazines, they put the drugs packets and other things and objectionable content and deliver it to you somehow without mentioning the source, how they're going to deliver. So you just have to expect that you are going to receive some package on a particular day by some means. So what we do is we try to identify if somebody is trying to sell it to some particular person, and then we try to identify, we try to intervene the communication, we try to talk to these people, and then try to identify whether he is really going to sell such amount which is claiming, or is he just bluffing. Once we identify and doing our intelligence gathering, we try to identify and try to catch the person. This is how we can try to curb the activities going on dark web. But there are so many activities which are not of our concern. Normally, like for example, if I'm posting something which is actually legitimate and it is of right context, but it is defamatory to some particular society. In that particular thing, also we are able to identify like who is the person who is posting this content, and it's completely on the matter of interest. If you're not messing with the country's interest, then you're safe. But if you're trying to do it against the country's interest, or you're trying to defame somebody, or trying to do something very bad out of very bad taste, then yes, you be sure that somewhere they're going to catch you. It will take time because tor is a bit complicated and requires a lot of resources and requires a lot of patience for the investigating officers to track you, but eventually they'll track you. For example, if you're doing something on website, like for example, you open a website randomly, you open some random website, you try to post something objectionable. For example, you post something on YouTube, for that matter. Let me open YouTube. I just post something, some objectionable video on YouTube. How easy is it, or how hard is it to remove this video? For example, if you can see, this particular video has been uploaded by Mirchi Murga or Set India. I can simply report this to YouTube, and YouTube can give me the information that who's the person behind uploading this particular video, along with the IP address and his location, physical location also. Or else, if you want to get the information about this particular website, you can simply use the method called UPES. For example, consider this as a scenario that, for example, I'm taking this website. This website is nothing with any harm for this for the session anyhow. This particular website, if somebody has uploaded some kind of objectionable content, you can very well search for the information of this website through who is lookup, who is domain lookup. With this, you come to know who is the owner of this website, what is the registrant contact information, or anyhow you will get to know the IP address eventually. Due to the GDPR, they are not giving you more information as of now, but still you can identify this particular website has been registered by New Frontier Incorporation, and you can reach New Frontier Incorporation, or at least if you identify the IP address of this particular website, you can very well catch the person who is managing this particular website. But it does not work in case of dark web. If I try to open DuckDuckGo, or let me open this particular website for that matter, I just open this website, or just let me search for the ownership of this particular .onion website. To try searching for this particular .onion website, it will not resolve to any particular thing, because that is the reason. If I can sell drugs or some kind of objectionable content on dark web, I feel that people are unable to track me when compared to a normal website. If I upload something here, some random stuff on this particular website, somehow you are able to track me maybe in 1 day or 2 days. But if you do the same thing on dark web, it will take time. It might take a couple of months, but eventually you will be behind the bars. That is one main important thing behind this particular session. The words of advice for this session is use Tor responsibly. Many of you, out of curiosity, try to click on links. For example, if you check on this particular website of hiddenwiki.org, you have so many websites available which can also be objectionable. So don't think that if you're clicking this link, you will go unnoticed. For example, if I, by mistake, if I try to open something like this, let me be on the safe side. Let me not try opening anything which is objectionable. Let me open something like this, even in a clear web. Anyhow, it does not get resolved, but still your service provider knows that you try to initiate a query to this particular domain. And this is one particular thing. Okay, so always be cautious. Do not even try to open these websites on a clear web. Don't think that if I click here, it will not get resolved by the normal browsers. It will somehow try to contact the DNS server, and the DNS server will reply with something called NX domain lookup failed, NX domain error. That means this domain is nowhere to resolve as per the DNS. So anyway, don't even try to attempt opening any kind of objectionable content on this particular Tor network. And one more thing you can do is never indulge in objectionable activities over internet, be it surface web or dark web. Never ever search the web for any prohibited content, even for the sake of finding resources. To be specific, I say that never try to search for anything related to child pornography. Never do that, even on clear web or dark web. You will be behind the bars without any question. And also, if the people who are already using Tor, if they are involved in creating an exit relay, let me also clear you that hosting an exit relay is not a crime. Using Tor is not a crime. Accessing any website on Tor, unless it is objectionable, is not a crime. You can use it because it's depending on your own security or depending on your own anonymity. If you want to be anonymous, if you do not want your service provider to track your activities, like I've told earlier. For example, if I was searching for some headphones on Amazon or Flipkart, then after some time, if I open the same thing, if I open my Facebook, I can find the news feed filled with ads of that particular headphone or providing me an offer of these related to these headphones. So never try to do that. For that reason, we can use Tor or we can use incognito mode if you want to be, and never if, for example, if you're opening Tor and you're using Tor for around half an hour or 1 hour, I can simply say that you are doing something which is completely illegal, because nobody simply orders something using dark web, right? Nobody goes visit makemytrip.com, nobody visits bookmyshow.com, nobody visits flipkart.com using Tor. Does not serve purpose. So if a person is spending a lot of time, you might come under the radar of the law enforcement agencies. And if you're hosting any exit relay, you need to be anticipating that if something goes wrong using your exit relay. For example, if you have seen, I had option to set Indian as a relay, set India as a relay. So if I'm hosting my own laptop, if I'm hosting my own exit relay on my laptop, it probably comes from an Indian IP address. If the Indian IP address is being used for exit relay, and if some person some miscreant tries to do something using my exit relay, and if I am not able to provide information to law enforcement agencies, I can be held liable for that. So always be cautious about this particular thing. If you have any queries, you may ask in the comments. So I'm looking at the comments. If you can provide in the comments, because I think I have around 6 minutes only left. I just tried to search or try to compile it. Normally I take session for 1 day or 2 days for dark web, but as this is a public forum, I had to limit myself to only particular content, which is because the audience is not controlled here, the environment is not controlled, so we can expect any kind of people watching this particular video. So I had to limit myself to just the content which is not promoting. And here, anyhow, last words of advice here is, I'm not here to discourage you for using Tor. I'm not here to encourage you for using Tor. I'm just telling you that I was here, my agenda was to just demystify the skeptical or the, what do you say, there's so much of hype behind the Tor browser where people think that it is very secure. So nothing is secure. Basic point I want to tell you that I might be using so many networks. Okay, I have a comment here by Mr. Rakshit Pathak. If I'm using Tor, then can my IP address be used as relay for someone else? Yes, you can use it. But by default, Tor works. By default, Tor works only as a client. If you want, you can configure it. You can configure it very well, but configuring it might put you under charge for anything if it goes wrong. If nothing goes wrong, then it's not a problem. But if something goes wrong, then you will be liable for that. You're answerable to that. Yes. Mr. Priyansh Agarwal has asked a question. Sir, we have these rumors that you should not open torrent full screen. It is true, because in instances we have seen that if a person opens a Tor in a complete window, Tor, a website, records your complete user agents along with the resolution. For example, to show what your computer knows about you or what a website knows about you, you can open a website. Let me share the screen first. Okay, I'll come back to that question about cyber frauds and total anonymity. But before that, let me show you a bit about what your browser knows about you. Okay, there's a website called webk.robinlinux.com. This website gives you the information about what all information about your system is being maintained or being identified by your any website. Okay, so anyhow, I have secured my Firefox browser. Let me try to open this same thing in my Google Chrome and see what information it has about me. If you check here, can you see this? It is identifying my software. It is identifying my browser version, browser plugins, native client, and people who are in cybersecurity, they know what is the vulnerabilities available in a lot of plugins, hardware, what I'm using, what is my GPU, what is my level of battery, so many things. My public IP, my private IP also might be revealed, and other information is identified. On the basis of this thing, the law enforcement agencies can track the people. Okay, so hope that answers it. But if you want to access Tor in full, don't ever access it in full screen. But yeah, but for example, if you're doing some research, you can open it. But if you're trying to access some websites of adversaries, please be sure that you do not open it in full screen. Or you can change the user agent. It's very easy. You can install a plugins like user agent switcher in your Google Chrome or Firefox and then use it. You can spoof your headers or you can proof your user agents into thinking that you're accessing this particular thing from a Nokia 1100 also. But anyhow, it will be foolish on our side if I say that this is going to be like somebody is going to access from a Nokia 1100. Okay, Mr. Pushkar Bansal has asked, sir, there are a lot of websites which block our request when we use Tor to stuff them, and why and how do they do that? Okay, very good question you have asked. So I would like to reply to this particular thing. Okay, first thing is the IP addresses of Tor entry and exit nodes are public. Okay, to identify that, let me show you that again. There's a website. Okay, dan.me.uk. This is a website. You may note it down if you want. dan.me.uk. This website maintains a list of all the Tor nodes. So this is a website, dan.me.uk/Tor list, wherein it has a list of all the IP addresses which are being used by the Tor network. So in case you want to simply, like, for example, if I'm hosting a website, I do not want people to visit my website using Tor. So what I normally do is I just put this IP address into blacklist. So once you try to open this website, it will not allow you to open that. To bypass this, yes, it is possible. You can bypass this also. Let me write. To bypass this, you may use bridges. There are something called Tor bridges. Tor bridges are privately listed IP addresses of Tor relays, because whatever is public has been blocked because the service providers block your request on the basis of the publicly listed Tor IP addresses. But if you want to access the website anyhow by using Tor network, in that particular case, you might try to use bridges. In the Tor software itself, you have an option, right? Request for bridges. Okay. there is, okay, can monitoring the dark web actually put your organization at risk? No, this is not so, because see, for example, if I'm a financial organization, if I'm a law enforcement agency, I want my agents to be secure. I do not want their details to be revealed. For example, if somebody has uploaded my number somewhere, so I have my personal number, I do not want to share it with somebody else. So if somebody tries to leak my data, so there should be a person who knows, or there should be an organization or a team in your organization which should focus on identification of your data leaks. So they should be able to identify whether your data has been leaked. Recently, there was a data breach of so many other organizations that I do not want to name. So normally, how they come to know about this? So they need to have an organization completely proactively working on dark web, identification of sources or identification of resources where your data has leaked. Okay. Your organization will not be at risk, that is for sure, unless you are trying to search for at least which is something which is objectionable. You may try to index so many things. Okay. Okay, Mansi Bist has asked a question: if we use Tor and VPN, can we still be get caught? Now it depends on for what purpose you're using it. If you're using Tor and VPN to watch web series on YouTube, if you're using Tor and VPN to access Netflix and watch Serious Men, it is not a problem. But if you're using Tor and VPN to watch some objectionable content, watch some content which is involved in brainwashing or extremist, in that particular case, nobody can help you. Nobody will even ask you. They'll directly take you for a cup of coffee, and then you know how they treat you. So be responsible. Using Tor and VPN might delay an investigation a bit of couple of weeks or months, but eventually you are caught. So please don't take a risk, or don't put yourself into trouble by just accessing some objectionable content only for the sake of curiosity. Don't do that. Any other questions? Sorry if I have been fast while demonstrating the content. Anyhow, it's a YouTube video, so you may pause it and play back and then watch it, or you might decrease the speed, as I had a less time in this thing. So anyway, I apologize if I've been very faster in my approach, but okay. So any other queries, if you have, you may ask. You are given always feel free to ask any questions at any point in time. Uh, One more thing is, as a part of my organization, what I do normally is, okay, if you talk about working with law enforcement agencies, it's very great, like what do you say, great initiative. It's a great support for us. For example, if I have a particular case, and my bosses and the people I work with, my superiors and my juniors, whoever they are, I have immense power to investigate a case. And the moment I end my case, I am a common man. So right, so you need to remember that. Don't let right. They say that with great power comes great responsibility. So you have to be responsible. If I have a case, I can use whatever resources I have. I can make the most of it for detecting the crimes and try to detect cases and nab criminals. But if you come and talk about me, if I have a problem in my personal life, I cannot use my resources to do it, and that is how it uh, humbles you back if you're working on it. Okay. So you can also criticize in the comment section. It's not like yeah, we are open for criticism, because I think it's the first time I'm talking with non-law enforcement people. So there could be so many things, ups and downs, or maybe I might have missed on so many things, or maybe I have spoken too technical or maybe less technical and considered, because I'm not sure about the audience I'm looking at, because it's YouTube live. So I could not anticipate what kind of audience we're getting. But if you were expecting something else, I'm sorry, I could not discuss about that, because right, because if I discuss about something which is objectionable, it might result in the deletion of the video, it might land into trouble, or it might be out of context and people might think that I am promoting such kind of activities on the public forum. So that's it for this thing. Okay, Varun Gupta has asked a question: how to join cybercrime branch? Means how many years of experience were required to join? Let me tell you how I had joined. I used to work in to many public forums on ethical hacking way back around a decade ago. So somehow they found me for one particular case. The cyber cell had found me for one particular case. They had asked me if I could help them without their support. Like they are, like they have the state of the art technologies to track and map criminals, but at that time they did not tell me, they did not introduce me to whatever tools they had. They just asked me, "Ki, we have a particular case. Can you help it?" So once we tried to crack it, took around 1 month. I was working with my friends in this particular case. After that, then they found maybe it took around 8 months. It's not easier to pass their litmus test. They test you for 8 months. They had teams sent to my home. They had teams sent to my other places where I normally visit on the basis of location. They identified whom I speak to, what is my friends circle, and what kind of people I deal with. After all this thing, then I was working with the cyber cell, and way back in 2015, I joined the National Police Academy, and it's been around 5.5 years for me working in the National Police Academy. And my basic part of my work is identify the cases. For example, if there are around 100 cases, okay, so I identify the common link between these 100 cases, and I try to train the law enforcement agencies. Basically, we deal with IPS officers because in National Police Academy we have the training of the IPS, Indian Police Service officers. And besides that, we travel to various agencies. Some are documented, some are undocumented. And the agenda of that is identify the cases and identify a common link, how to crack in case they have similar kind of cases in the future. So we travel to different parts of the country to deal with it. So if you are, if you want to join cybercrime, you can start with internship. Please apply for internship any of your cyber cells in your state, wherever you're staying. They'll be very happy if you come and try to focus on this particular area, because the people with such skills normally go in a wrong direction. So when a person having this capacity comes to cyber cell for providing like for learning something, go there with learning. Don't say that I am very perfect, I am good into cyber security, I'm good in cyber crime investigation, I want to help the police. Never do that. The cyber cells are very like they can work even without us. So anyway, you just have to help them, go the intention with the helping, like helping them, not helping them, sorry, learning from them. And then when time suits, and when they try to do a litmus test on you, they try to identify your behavior, and then sooner or later they'll try to ask you for recruitment. Can we get internship at NDCRTC? Yes, you may try. You may mail us at ndcrtc@svpnpa.gov.in. You may try mailing us. We'll try to work on it. Parak Gupta want to have full day session. I wish I could deliver a full day session, but I do not want to ruin your weekends by talking for whole day. One question I think I have not answered was how do we complain about cyber frauds? Mital Mehta had asked a question like how to complain about cyber frauds. There's a portal available for cyber crimes. You can simply go there and just lodge a complaint, or you can even visit a simple cyber cell. You can go to any local police station. If you are not comfortable by going to a local police station physically, you have a website for cybercrime. You can directly approach on the website. You can fill your complaint and then make sure it gets resolved. You don't even have to go physically to the police station. So okay, would like to attend another class of yours. So there's a comment here, another class, I hope. So anyway, okay. So I think there are no more queries. So I would like the coordinator to please take over from here.
Hello, sir. Am I audible? Okay, am I audible? Okay. Hi, Arif, sir. Yeah. Dear Arif, sir, our most valuable participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to offer vote of thanks on this occasion of October Cybersecurity Awareness Month being celebrated by UPES Cyber Sentinel Student Chapter. I am Tripti Mishra, the faculty coordinator of this chapter, and on behalf of the entire team of Cyber Sentinel UPES Student Chapter as well as UPES, I should rather call it a fraternity of cybersecurity. We would like to thank you so much, Arif sir, for taking out your time from busy schedule and sharing your research findings on opinions on dark web and Tor browser with all of us today. We are really inspired by your insightful talk. We really look forward to hearing from you again in the near future. I would also like to express my deep gratitude towards Sri C. Vamsi Krishna, IPS, Assistant Director, IT SVP NPA, for giving us this opportunity to hear you live on YouTube. I also like to thank each and every participant who really joined this talk and who really took out their time and really attended this talk, and I hope you all have had a very good experience by this talk, a knowledgeable and an insightful experience. Apart from that, I would also like to thank all my entire team of UPS Cyber Sentinel student chapter for coordinating this event so effectively, efficiently, and I really want to thank my other colleague, Mr. Ankit Vishnoi, also for arranging this talk. Thank you very much. Thank you, UPES, for allowing us and giving us this opportunity to celebrate October Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Arif sir, once again, we are really very thankful to you, and we hope to see you in near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thanks a lot for allowing me to deliver a session here. I'd like to thank UPS and all the coordinators involved in this particular session. Thank you. Hope it served purpose and hope it did not ruin your valuable time on the weekend.
Yes, for allowing us and giving us this opportunity to celebrate. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Awareness Month. So, also participants, I have a request to make. There is a feedback link in the live chat being displayed. I really want each and every one of you who is attending this talk to please fill that feedback link. That will be really very very beneficial for us, and of course Arif sir. And we really want to hear you in the near future, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, I hope we are good to go now. So thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Jai Hind.